Hey everybody, it's the Burger Dude, and today I want to show you how I make the easiest, cheesiest vegan mac and cheese. And the reason why it's the easiest is because unlike a lot of vegan cheese recipes, we won't be boiling any carrots or cashews. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I actually do have a carrot and cashew based cheese recipe, but instead we'll simply be swapping the traditional ingredients of milk, butter, and cheese for their vegan versions. And this sauce comes together super quickly, about the same amount of time it takes to boil some pasta. So let's go ahead and start with our vegan butter. And I am making a double batch in the video, but I'll be giving you measurements for a single batch. So go ahead and melt your butter over some medium heat. And once you got your butter good and melted, go ahead and give it a whisk, just to get any stragglers that might not have melted yet. And now we're going to add in our flour. So go ahead and just do it about a tablespoon at a time and whisk in between each tablespoon. And all we're doing here is creating a roux, which is the basis of pretty much any old cheese sauce. And once you got it all nice and whisked together, go ahead and cook it for about a minute or so to get the raw flour out of there. And next up, we're going to add some unsweetened plant milk. I really like the brand Ripple, but use whatever plant milk you like. Just make sure it's unsweetened. And just like with the flour, we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of milk at a time and whisk it and get it nice and smooth. And once you got your milk and your flour all incorporated, go ahead and cook that over medium heat while we add some nutritional yeast, which is going to add some color and some cheesy flavor, as well as the coveted B12 vitamin. So go ahead and whisk that together. And then next we're going to add some turmeric, which is also going to add some nice color and a little bit of flavor. Not too much, it's pretty mild tasting. This is basically golden milk now, but I don't recommend drinking it. And of course, we're going to add in some salt and pepper. I'm using garlic salt. Just bear in mind that you can always add salt to things, but you can never take salt out. So just be very careful with your seasonings. And here's the cheese I'm using. I'm using some Follow Your Heart and some VO Life. And if you don't have the grated cheese, you can also use these slices. Just go ahead and chop them up so that they melt nice and easily. And I'm going to go ahead and taste it. For salt, like I said, you could also add some garlic powder if you like. Some smoked paprika. You could even get a little crazy and add some hatch green chilies. Really customize it however you like. And this is what we're looking for right here. We're looking for these cool, magical little bubbles. And what this basically means is that it's time to add our cheese. So go ahead and pour your cheese on in. Give it a good whisk. Whisk it good. And at this point, this is the rest of the recipe. You're just going to be whisking a bunch of cheese. And I ain't going to lie, it's going to take a little while. But you know what? There's worse things in the world than to be whisking a bunch of cheese. So have fun with it, you know? And then go ahead and do your final seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and add some smoked paprika as well as some cayenne. And you can add, again, customize this to your heart's content. Do whatever you like. It really is super customizable, you know, total freedom. And speaking of total freedom, I thought I'd show you a few other ways that you can use this cheese sauce. For instance, how about some broccoli, huh? You know, as a kid, I never really liked broccoli, and I think maybe one of the reasons was because I never had it doused in a bunch of cheese sauce. You know, my parents would try and tell me to pretend I was Godzilla and they were little trees, but that never really worked on me. You know, I was too smart for that. We could also do classic chip and dip as I'm doing here, and you know, I did probably 30 of these shots under the guise of trying to get the perfect shot, but really it was just because it was so frickin' good, I couldn't contain myself and just went to town. Speaking of going to town, you could also douse these potato smiles in a bunch of cheese sauce as I did. And honestly, I just did this because I wanted to see what it would look like, and it was very satisfying. It was also very delicious. But y'all didn't come here for this silly stuff. You came here for the mac and cheese. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and add some mac and cheese in a dramatic fashion, as I often do. And I gotta be honest, sorry Mom, but this is the best mac and cheese I ever had. And there you go. I'm eating it with a fork in this shot. And this next shot, I'm eating it with a spoon. Who are you? Team fork or team spoon? I think I'm team spoon. It's easier to shovel it in your face. And speaking of faces, I also wanted to show you all this because, I'm sorry, I might be a little overzealous with the potato smiles, but they're hilarious and delicious, so sue me, you know? And here's something that I discovered way too late in life, but if you take some barbecue sauce and just give your mac and cheese a good old drizzle, it is one of the most splendid combinations you'll ever experience. And I don't know why it took so long, but hey, better late than never, you know? And as per usual, I'm going to go ahead and end this video by throwing a bunch of stuff on a burger. Because that's what I do. I put stuff on burgers, and so can you.